Alright, today we're going to do lesson 9.6, applying the discriminant of the quadratic equation. First of all, let's talk about what the discriminant is. On Friday, we learned what the quadratic equation was, and it's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. Now that formula we went over on Friday, you have to memorize that for your upcoming test and quiz. The discriminant in that formula is b squared minus 4 times a times c. So everything that you see underneath the radical is the discriminant. Now notice, the radical sign is not part of the discriminant. If I said write the discriminant, all you would write was b squared minus 4ac. It does not have the square root sign. So what I can do is I can use this discriminant and find out how many solutions or x-intercepts my parabola is going to have. Now remember, when I look at a graph of a parabola, okay, I can have one that looks like this, okay, and this parabola will have 2 x-intercepts or 2 solutions. I could also have a parabola that looks like this. This parabola has no x-intercepts or no solutions because it will never touch the x-axis. Or I could have a parabola that looks like this. It has 1 solution because it only touches the x-intercept at one place, or it has 1 x-intercept. Okay? So using the discriminant, I will know if I have 1 x-intercept, 2 x-intercepts, or no x-intercepts. So if I plug in all my numbers, b, a, and c, into the discriminant, and I find out that when I solve it all, it becomes a positive number, then I know that there are 2 solutions to that quadratic equation, or there are 2 x-intercepts. If I plug in all the numbers and I get 0 as an answer, that means there is only 1 solution. If I plug in all the numbers and I get a negative answer, then that means there are no solutions to the quadratic equation. Now, remember, you will always start out with an equation that looks like this. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, because that's where you get your values from, a, b, and c. That's what I'm actually going to plug into the discriminant. All right? Let's do some problems on that. Example 1, finding the number of solutions. So for our number of solutions, we only have 3 options. There's either 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no solution. I know that there's going to be 2 solutions if I use the discriminant and I get a positive answer. There's going to be 1 solution if I use the discriminant and I get 0 as my answer. I know there's going to be no solutions if I use the discriminant and I get a negative number as my solution. So, first of all, before we do anything, let's write the discriminant. The discriminant was b squared minus 4ac. Now, you will have to write the discriminant on your upcoming test as well. So this is something you do need to memorize. You need to memorize that b squared minus 4 times a times c is your discriminant. All right, let's label a, b, and c in this first equation. A is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 2, and c is equal to 4. I realize that this is in standard form, so I can go ahead and label. All right, let's plug in our numbers. Negative 2 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, and c, which is 4. All right, now all I got to do is solve it. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times positive 4 is negative 16. Negative 16. 4 minus 16 is negative 12. So this is the answer of my discriminant. So how many solutions will I have? Well, I know if I have a negative number, I will have no solution. No solution would be my answer. Because think about it. If you plug that back into the quadratic equation, if you had the square root of negative 12, what would that be? Undefined. So there's no way that you could ever have a solution with a negative number under the square root. All right, let's do the next one. Let's label A. A is 3. B is 5. And C is negative 1. All right, let's plug it into our formula. B squared, which is 5 squared, minus 4 times A, which is 3, and C, which is negative 1. 5 squared is 25. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 1 is positive 12. 25 plus 12 is 37. So my answer is a positive number, so I know I will have 2 solutions. I know that I will have 2 solutions to this equation. All right, let's do the next one. A equals, what does A equal? Negative 1. Very good, because even though I don't see it, I know that's a 1 there, and it has a negative sign in front of it. All right, B is equal to negative 10, and C is equal to negative 25. All right, let's plug in our numbers. Negative 10 squared minus 4 times A, which is negative 1, and C, which is negative 25. Negative 10 squared is 100. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 25 is negative 100. Well, 100 minus 100 is 0. So my answer is 0, and the number of solutions I'm going to have is 1. Now, don't get confused when you see 0 to think, oh, that means 0 solutions. It does not. It's only 0 solutions when there's a negative number. When you get 0, you actually have 1 solution. All right? So that's how you find the number of solutions. So when I get a positive answer, how many solutions will I have? 2. When I get a negative answer, how many solutions will I have? None. When I get 0, how many solutions will I have? 1. Very good. All right? Let's move on. Finding the number of x-intercepts. Now, this problem looks a little bit different because it has y equals x squared plus 6x plus 3. This equation is ready to be graphed, but instead of graphing and looking at the parabola and seeing how many x-intercepts or how many times the parabola crosses the x-intercept, I'm going to do something much simpler, which is use the discriminant and find out how many x-intercepts I'm going to have. It's going to be the exact same thing that we did. Finding the number of solutions and the number of x-intercepts is the exact same. All right? So let's label A, B, and C. A equals 1, B equals 6, and C equals 3. All right? My discriminant is B squared minus 4AC. So let's plug in numbers. 6 squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, C, which is 3. 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 36 minus 12 is going to be 24. So I have a positive number. So how many x-intercepts will I have? 2. Very good. 2 x-intercepts. Now, every time you don't have to write 2 x-intercepts, 2 solutions. You can just write 2, 1, 0, or 2, 1, none, something like that, okay? All right, let's do the next one. A is 1, B is 6, C is 10. All right, 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 10. 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 10 is negative 40. 36 minus 40 is negative 4. And since it's a negative number, how many x-intercepts will I have? None. No x-intercepts. Okay? And lastly, A equals 1, B equals 6, C equals 9. All right? Discriminant, 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9. 36. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. 36 minus 36 is 0. So how many x-intercepts will I have? 1. All right, and I'm going to just go right here beside it and show you. When you have 2 x-intercepts, again, this is what your graph would look like. 2 x-intercepts. My parabola crosses the x-axis at 2 places. When you have no x-intercepts, okay, it would look like something like this. This parabola will never cross the x-axis, so it has no x-intercepts. And lastly, 1 x-intercept, it could look like this, where it only crosses the x-axis at one spot, which is right here. All right? That's how you use the discriminant to find the number of x-intercepts and the number of solutions.